Alright, hello everyone, I am Ieschouah. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and also like, comment, and share this video. Also, come think about joining my Discord and following my social medias and signing up to my Patreon as well. So today's presentation is going to be about Rosicrucian and Masonic symbolism. For centuries, there have been depictions of people creating art, symbols, and whatever it may be to portray a message that simple words can't explain. Although I plan to give some interpretation to this symbolism that you are about to see, I want you all to know that there are multiple amounts of meaning to what something could be, and that my interpretation of it can differ from what you might be thinking of. But nonetheless, let's get into this presentation. Alright, so here we have a common Masonic image. We have the black and white tiles, and then from there we have the stairs which lead to the square and compass and a holy book, most likely the Bible. We see that there is a coffin with skull and crossbones, with tree branches and leaves coming from the coffin, probably signifying acacia. We see the Ark of the Covenant on the left side, and we also noticed 4 pillars, possibly for the 4 cardinal directions. We then see a bunch of building tools surrounding the image, possibly reminding the person of morality. Obviously, in Freemasonry, you got these moral teachings, so that's just obvious. All of this is obviously representing a form of enlightenment or trying to obtain enlightenment. So here we see a Masonic tracing board of the 3rd degree. We once again see a coffin with the skull and crossbones. We see the acacia leaf on top. We then see at the top of this tracing board the letter W for the west, which signifies death. At the foot of the coffin are arranged the 3 implements with which Hiram Abiff was slain, which are the plumb rule, level, and heavy maul. At the head, we see the skirt, compasses, and pencil with a circle described between the legs of the compasses. So looking at the Masonic cipher letters, we note that reading from right to left, we get the letters TC, which is Tubal Cain, right beside the working tools above the skull and crossbones. Right here. Then again, from right to left, we get HAB over here, which is Hiram Abiff, and still reading in the same direction, we get AL 3000 or Anno Lucius 3000, which is the year of Hiram's death. Then we note the letter He in Hebrew, which is the 5th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, denotes the number 5. This letter is also at the foot of the coffin on the lid, right here. Beneath the skull and crossbones, we see the letters MB twice, right here. So MB might be Masonic Brotherhood. Here is a Rosicrucian painting. We have letters at the top of this image that say Dat Rosa Mel Apibus, which means the rose gives the bees honey. We see the rose in the middle with bees around it, with a cross as the stem. Symbolically, we are the bees, and the rose can be seen as the unfolding of the soul, giving its labor to humanity, and the cross takes on many meanings. In this sense, the vertical representing the spiritual, while the horizontal represents the material. So you have to spiritually, materially make use of both worlds. Also, the rose can be seen as the sun. And obviously the sun is like a life giver to humanity. It gives us life as we know it and basically feeds us the light. So Here is a Masonic Masonic image. I don't know whether this is Masonic or not, but it does portray Masonic symbolism. So we have the checkered floor at the bottom, then rising above, we see the fountain of youth with the tree of life in the middle with the ark. We see the Masonic cross or the Knights Templar cross, the square and compasses, the fish, which also states Enri up above, the inverted pentagram, and the Star of David. We can note that this is a pyramid with the missing capstone at the top. We also see the sun and moon as well. This is symbolizing the obvious building of one's inner self, or in other words, transformation. And just on a side note, everyone has seen the Eye of Providence on the dollar bill, and that in one sense is trying to obtain enlightenment. You are missing this little capstone at the top here, which would be the chief capstone, the final one that gets built for the pyramid. So you have to build it up yourself. It's like the last missing piece that you are missing. Now, since we got that established, let's move on. Here's the Masonic image with the Eye of Providence at the top, with rays like the sun coming off of it. We have the sun and moon on both sides with the hexagram right here. Then we have the building tools on the sides here, all of which symbolize something to do with man's evolution of spiritual consciousness. We know, you can note that there's the ark, and from this ark it looks like the rays of God, because it's descending down, come down at zenith to where your head would be. And we note the ark of the covenant, which is the brain right here. This symbolizing the brain. And then we notice someone digging, which is like digging into digging for knowledge within yourself. Then there are the 3 initiates for the 3 degrees of Freemasonry, obviously. I can go over a little bit of this. So we got the menorah. We have like these square and compasses, or the compass with this inverted arc right here. And then we have the sun in the middle. Then we got this triangle with a plum. I believe that's the plum. We got the cornucopia. I forget what this is, but we have this like incense burner, if I'm correct on that. We have what looks like King Solomon's temple. We have the Ark of the Covenant, I believe. Then we got the axe, which would be like picking at the rough ashlar, or the rough parts of yourself, and to make yourself perfect and better. And then we got this capstone, which is like I think it says Hiram, the widow's son, sent to King Solomon. I could be wrong on that one, but usually that's what this Masonic capstone that you'll see has on it. Okay, moving on. Here's the first degree tracing board of Freemasonry. We note the 3 pillars, which is symbolizing the 3 degrees. There's also the sun and moon with the 7-pointed star in the middle, shining its rays in the middle. We also note that the ladder leading up to this, which is it's just a little bit further away from the last pillar right here, just a little bit further. We see that this tracing board is noted to be looking to the east, which is symbolic of birth or resurrection. We see on the outside of this tracing board the knots connecting the inside of the board to the outside of the board, which represent the connection between the material and spiritual worlds. We also note the tessellation on the outside as well, which is symbolic of the tropical gap on Earth and the water molecule rising through it and bouncing off the tropical gap, like how this tessellation is showing. This tessellation is also symbolic of how the sun and planets all go around and make their orbits as well. Then we notice the altar in the middle with the circumpunct, which is basically the symbolic portal of the sun, from my understanding. We know a tracing board right in front of it. And it's like a tracing board and a tracing board and a tracing board. We also see the rough ashlar with the perfect ashlar, and going off to the right hand corner, we see Masonic building tools. Alright, continuing on. Here's a Rosicrucian painting in which we see the compass at the very top giving a 23.5 degree angle with the cross and a rose in the middle. We also see the dove, which is symbolic of illumination, giving food to its chicks, which is 7 in number. And down at the very bottom, we have the words Enri, which means nature being renewed by fire. The compass, in one sense, represents the seasons because of its 23.5 degree angle in which it makes, symbolic of the sun going up and down to the northern and southern hemispheres. The cross with the rose is symbolic of this as well. The cross being a symbol for the zodiac and also a symbol for the human body, and also the 4 cardinal directions and the solstices and equinoxes. The rose is once again symbolic of the sun. The dove in this picture is symbolic of illumination, and there are 7 chicks in which it feeds, which is like the divine light giving to humanity the 7 divine planets, liberal arts, and so on. Then Enri, which I have talked about before, is symbolic of nature being transformed by fire or the sun. Alright. Here we have another Masonic tracing board in which we see the 2 pillars with the arc or doorway, and this path leads to a guard standing under what looks like a temple. We can also notice the Masonic checkered floor as well. We notice 7 steps on the winding staircase, and we can note that this possibly represents Solomon's temple, which Freemasons obsess over, and we can say that this is like going back to the sun from which we came, or maybe going through the door, the spiritual door. Oh, sorry. This is like going through the spiritual door when you obtain that enlightenment. And we also have this, like, it looks like a flower maybe getting ready to sprout, or just a flower that's getting ready to blossom for your spiritual awakening. Okay. So here's another standard Masonic tracing board. We see a bunch of symbols off to the sides here. Um, sorry, we see a bunch of symbols off to the sides here with the sun and moon on top. We notice the building tools of Freemasonry and the staircase leading to the light right here. Sorry. Then there's a biblical symbolism when coming into the entrance under the ark. We got, I forget what this is called, I forget what it's called. It's like something to do with the priest, I believe, and him setting up a table. I forget what it's called, but it's biblical symbolism. You got the Ark of the Covenant as well. That's the brain. And yeah, a bunch of Masonic symbolism. It's basically growing yourself up to become initiated into the higher consciousness. And then this is just like a compilation of Masonic images. You know, I can go over this real quick from the best of my ability. We got the two pillars, Jachin and Boaz. We got this like little scroll. We got the sword and the heart. And then we got this Constitution, square and compass with the Bible, the G for generation, and God in geometry. We got the Masonic apron, in which that's like Taurus field symbolism almost. This shoe, I'm not too sure what this really is, and what it's representing, but I'm just going to skip over that. If you guys know, let me know what that means. We got this circumpunct with the Bible or a holy book, probably leading you back to the source of God. Masonic beehive. This is obviously to do with the seasons. If you look on the earth, it's like the sun. It makes a little spiral right here, but then it goes all the way down to the southern hemisphere. So you got the northern hemisphere and then the southern hemisphere all the way around. This, I forget what this is called. Then we got the scythe, the hammer and ruler, the coffin, a shovel, and another sledgehammer. And then we got the more Masonic building tools. We got the ark and the snake. Euclid's 47th postulate, if I'm correct. Hourglass with the wings, Ark of the Covenant, Jacob's ladder. And then I'm not too sure what this is. So if you guys know, then we got like these 3 candles, which is like the 3 entrances from what I believe. It's like the south, west, and east, because the north doesn't the sun, you won't see the sun shining in the north if you were to look that way. But then you got the rough ashlar, perfect ashlar, checkered floor, and then you got the Masonic handshake, and then you got the trowel. And then you got this 5-pointed star, and then it's like you got clouds, because like it's like hidden, and enlightenment is hidden from you because you got to seek the light. There's a bunch of symbolism here to remind the person to become a better human being and to reach enlightenment. If you guys have any suggestions as well to what this might also symbolize, I'd love to hear it. Another one. So, here we have another Masonic compilation with a lot of Masonic symbolism in one image. Once again, the building of oneself. You know, it's kind of hard to establish what this all means, but just from the basics of it, it looks like we got Jacob's ladder, possibly the trowel, um, Euclid's 47th postulate. I can't really see that one. We got the sledgehammer with the shovel and the coffin. We got nature. I'm not too sure what that one is. I haven't got into that research. I'm not too sure what that is. And then we got three candles, altar with the square and compasses, and a holy book. Same with over here. And then we got like these. I forget what this is called, but you might see this on the United Nations flag. It's like a Roman symbol for the king, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. And then you got these two angels and a bunch of other. It's probably the 4 signs of the zodiac, maybe. And then you got other symbols on the sides over here. And then you got more symbolism of angels. You got the Star of David. You got the inverted pentagram. These angels, I'm not too sure what they're called. And then it looks like you got handshaking right here. Maybe that's like God coming to man and man reaching up to God. Yeah, very, very symbolic. There's a lot here. And once again, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it if you do have anything to say about it. Okay, so another Masonic tracing board. This is one of the Masonic tracing boards of Freemasonry. We have King Solomon's Temple with the sun behind the clouds, or maybe it's the light shining behind the clouds. Maybe it's not the sun, but in this case, I will do the sun. So we got the sun behind the clouds shining on it, almost symbolically trying to say to go within yourself because it's hidden. Enlightenment is hidden and you need to go within. It's not in the outer world. Then we have all the building tools on the sides of this arc. It could be a doorway as well for entering the spiritual door through higher consciousness. A lot of these symbols I haven't ever seen before. This one I'm not too sure. This looks like a bell. And I was just hearing something. Me and this guy were talking just a couple of days ago. And like bells give sounds, which is like vibration and consciousness. And it could be something to do with the cosmos. Like how they got that Taco Bell symbol. That's like to do with the sun and counter space, the plasma sun, or the black sun. And this, and yeah, there's a bunch of symbolism here. Hourglass. I'm not too sure what this is. 3 initiates. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Axe. Jacob's ladder, trowel, eye of God, or eye of providence. Yeah, a lot of symbolism here. Sorry I can't break it all down, but I'd love to hear what you guys say, if you guys have anything to say about it. So here is the Mark Master Mason's tracing board, where we almost see the exact same symbolism with the doorway. So we see what appears to be looking. We see looking out the temple. That's basically So we can say it's like facing to the west, I believe. Or to the east, maybe. Usually it's facing out the west. Sorry. Keeps. And then we see the Eye of Providence at the top here. Illuminating. Coming to illuminate humanity. Then we have Jacob's ladder, and then we have the two pillars, and then we have these two Masonic letters. Now I could be wrong about this one. It could be looking east, depending on the circumstances. But in this case, I interpreted it as looking west because you're looking out the temple, and usually Masonic lodges are made to look in the east. So I see this as looking out the temple west, and that's like death. Because you gotta die. Your ego has to die for you to be raised consciously and spiritually. That's the whole Jesus healing the blind, Jesus resurrecting the dead. Because you gotta go through a symbolic ego death in order for you to obtain enlightenment. That's the whole Medusa, Perseus slaying Medusa, and the head getting cut off. That's the whole reason why they got that third degree in Freemasonry, where Hiram Abiff dies and then he gets resurrected again, because that's the soul being resurrected. And it's basically just a symbolic death, not a literal death, but something has to die off in order for you to gain enlightenment. It's the old self dying off. Hopefully I made that clear enough. If you guys need more information or want more information like that, just leave a comment. Okay, so here we see the rose in the middle with the Knights Templar cross, looks like. This is also like a photon as well. And then this image is basically portraying how from the macrocosm comes about the microcosm. And we see a inner Templar's cross, and then we got like a outer Templar's cross. Very symbolic. And we also see like a double sun. We got like the sun right here, right, with the rays shining off of it from this white light. And then we got like a sun behind the sun symbolism right here, where we got this sun encompassing the whole image, which is basically like the macrocosm, and then we have a microcosm. So you got the sun going around Earth, right? You got the sun around Earth, but then you got man being a symbolic sun when he becomes enlightened. Okay, moving on. Here we see the altar in what appears to be triangular in form, with 3 candles, which would represent the three atriums of Rosicrucianism. We see a pyramid structure, which is emitting light frequency from it, with the rose cross on top. This pyramid structure is like the missing capstone that we need for enlightenment. And we also got the checkered floor as well. Here we see a lot of occult symbolism to do with like the stairway to heaven. We see this pyramid structure almost right here, which leads up to heaven. So at the same way, if you were to look at this, it's almost like a floor, and you could walk on this floor and it will lead you to the divine light. Many Rosicrucians would call this the cosmic keyboard. And this is kind of like frequency making matter, and until it makes like, because you got that everything is frequency and vibration, and you got higher and lower forms of frequency which make up matter. That's where the elements all come from. And we got so this little cosmic keyboard has 7 colors, and yeah, it's like going through the 7 stages of initiation, 7 stages, 7 spheres, whatever it may be, to obtain this light. Raising your vibration, your kundalini, and working yourself up the ladder. Alright, so here is the orb. And this is to do with the masculine and feminine aspects of creation coming together. The snake is electromagnetic energy, and it's making this S curve because if you look at the stars, they'll all have this golden ratio or cardioid shape, and that's what this S curve is symbolizing, going around and making this little sign. And then you can notice how there's fruit coming from this. It's grapes. And this is because fruit comes from seeds, and seeds are like inertia energy, like seeds in an apple, and then you can create more apples. It's basically trying to tell you that the invisible realm is created from counter space, because you got space, which is, you can think of it as like the expansion of the torus field, and then it comes back in again. And what is that? What's it coming back into? It's coming back into the other realm. It's basically Ken Wheeler, he calls it counter space. Julio Castro calls it counter space. And if you look at those images and how they say the universe is flat, that's basically, and they'll show torus field images, and they'll show you it's basically like the inside of a flower is what this is symbolizing, this counterspatial realm. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's a lot of symbolism here, a lot of things to take on. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Think about coming in, following my social medias, share this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, come join my Discord, and think about joining my Patreon as well if you enjoy this stuff. Alright everybody, have a nice day.